My penmanship is so bad, I'm going to sue the nuns. I must learn to assume my responsibility. Paul Lieutenant Calvert, I've written that so much in my life. I memorized it.
We got the machine going.
Oh, good. No matter who they
Let's call
are.
this meeting to order. It's 10 o'clock.
Well, the idea is to get something in front of you.
Tuesday, October 14th. We'll stand for the pledge.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Zoller will lead us in the prayer this morning.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Please give us the wisdom to guide our jobs and our responsibilities correctly. In your name, amen.
Thank you. Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Stacy, Commissioner Zoller,
Here.
Commissioner White.
Here. We will sign the journal. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes as outlined.
I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Any adjustments to the agenda from anyone?
Just a continued update on the RTA building, where we're standing over there, and I see that yesterday that I think that Visa was doing some work, and are we gonna continue with the pressure washing of it, or are we gonna wait till the spring?
Okay. You want to go ahead and just do that first?
Dean is getting some quotes from Fiesel, because there's some cracks and some holes. I think we talked about it at last session. The initial quote he had given was the $2,300, but he needs us to determine whether we need to take out the whole panel. If they take out the whole panel, they'll get it to match a little bit better. Otherwise, it's just going to be close. I didn't
Okay.
think spending a couple more $1,000s to make it look perfect would be what you guys wanted to do. Just get it fixed, so that's why it's. And then when we paint it, if we paint it down the road, then it'll all blend in. But Fiesel's is supposed to get us a quote on the pressure washing. I know he was doing around the doors, because they've got the doors all put in, they got the flashing all done. They were just spraying off the areas around there. So I'm just kind of waiting on Fiesel's right now. Dean's been working with him to figure out what we needed to do, see how much the quote's going to go up.
And we wanted to patch it before we pressure washed it.
Yeah, my recommendation is, instead of taking the whole panel off and having it match perfectly, just get it close, and I don't think it's,
Yeah.
as long as it's not black and white.
Right.
I'm sure it'll be,
Yeah.
it'll be close, maybe a little faded, a little differently, but
Right.
keep the cost down.
Yeah, and then we'll see. I mean, should be, if you can get that prepared pretty quickly. I don't know how long it'll take to set up. We could still potentially do it. He does pressure washing as well, and he's supposed to give us a quote on that too.
Because we had an 8, a 4. I don't want this in the paper, because.
Yeah. I think there was a quote for $9,400, and then there was a quote for $5,000.
Okay,
For the pressure
okay.
washing.
Because we got a third bid that's coming in, and we, probably not appropriate that they know where we're at. I can imagine $49.99.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go move on to old business then. Any old business? No? Nicole? Mr. Zoller? Wow. New business.
New business, I have bill vouchers 102. I have an appropriation adjustment within the general fund, moving $7,219.89 from salaries to, it's the domestic relations salaries, to the 201, which is common pleas, the account they share. 204. And I have $12.34 from the Medicare to salaries, and $780.10 from PERS to the 201 PERS line, for a total moved $8,012.33. Again, this is at the request of Judge Schuff, and he indicates there's no additional monies from the general fund. He's just moving his money around. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriation to the general fund for 2014 This is for, 20,000 for the bulk mailing and postage on account. We have two different accounts, and Nikki can probably explain it better. One on the machine, and then one we do for our permit mailing. And Julie had a very large permit mailing for her certified reappraisals, and which we will get some reimbursed back from her 016 account for that. So, but we got to put the money in place to get it paid. I have a resolution authorizing an appropriation adjustment within the Seneca County Sewer District Fund 139, moving 2,000 from equipment to contract services. We have a supplement to the permanent appropriation for the Record Retention Preservation Disaster Recovery Fund 079, putting $32,466.25 into equipment. And this is for juvenile probate court. I have a resolution authorizing an appropriation adjustment within the Seneca County Sewer District Fund 139, moving $1 from PERS to PRS. This is in the different 139's accounts. One's for Baskin, one's for New Regal, one's for, and I don't have the exact ones she's reading it to or from, just the account numbers. We got PRS to PRS for $1, PRS to Medicare for $1, $80 from PRS to PRS. My line's all messed up here. $75 from PRS to PERS. $218 from PRS to salaries. $780 from salaries to salaries. And $320 from salaries to salaries. And then $108 from Medicare to salaries, for a total moved $1,583. And I can look up those account numbers afterwards so you know which ones those are for. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations for the probate special projects fund 093, putting $40,701.25 into equipment. This is for an application server to improve court efficiency and to allow the public to have access to permissible probate court records.
Does this come out of general funds?
No, nope, that's their special projects line.
Okay.
A resolution authorizing an agreement contract with the Lucas County Board of Commissioners for the Lucas County Coroner to perform certain necessary autopsies and toxicology reports for calendar year of 2015. And I have a resolution authorizing Stacy Wilson, County Administrator, to sign an agreement with AT&T for phone services on behalf of the Board of Seneca County Commissioners. He has 2 lines he needs to fix. Then the contract will be ready to sign, so I figured if I just put down me signing it, I don't have to wait till next board session. If you guys approve it, get those lines corrected, and we can move forward, and they can get a refund processed. He's hoping that if we get this in right away, we'll get the money back in this year.
I sat in on the meeting, at least the first part of the meeting, and I felt a little bit better about the whole process. If we do sign, we can get the rebate, and they brought one of their top guys down, so I felt a little bit better that they are addressing our issues. To actually clean up all these phone lines, it's gonna take, what they say, 6-8 months to actually get all that stuff cleaned up, so it might not be a prudent thing to wait that entire time
Yeah.
to
And they
to
did
continually be overcharged.
They put a clause in there that allows us to get out of the contract. Like if I think we talked back there about possibly moving the CSB off of the regular account and putting it on either like a PRI like the RTA is on, or I don't remember what the other system he called that would save us money. And I said, well, that'll put us under the minimum amount we're allowed to have. And he put a clause in there that as long as we're switching services between AT&T, they'll let us out of the contract to go to the other contract. So he'll readjust the contract as it goes.
What's the total cost of the rebate? I mean, today, I'm assuming to me it was $8,000, $10,000 a month, and that's been for the last 5-6 months, 5
Yeah,
months?
it's gotta be at least 5 months. Yep, I can
Where
get
are we
it from
getting those
Tony.
extra funds from?
We had
That's
put
just
it-
coming out of the
General.
general funds, which will then go back. We get 50, 60,000, that should go back then.
Yep. Yep.
Precise, yeah, I agree. We don't want to wait another 8, 9 months until we get this resolved, you know.
Yeah.
That was what I originally wanted to do, but talking with them, I felt just a little bit better about
Yeah.
the whole.
I'd rather get the rebates now, because down the road, you may have a change of management at AT&T or whatever, and then we gotta re-argue and rehash it out. Let's get it resolved now.
Stacy and Tanya did the technical stuff, and I just kind of give them the, little chewing out for their service, and I think it went well.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to pass those resolutions?
I make a motion, we pass the resolutions as discussed.
Okay, I will second that. Any more discussion on them? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Whitmer,
Yes. Sorry.
Commissioner Zoller,
Yes.
It's like school, I'm
Stacy.
passing them. Okay, motion passed. Okay, do we have anybody from the public wishing to speak to the board today?
I
Yes,
think we
please.
have Cindy here today.
Do I stand or do
Just
I
stand up and
sit? Thank you.
address who you are, because this is tape recorded,
Okay, that's.
who you are, and then what your purpose is.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Cindy Hunt Dunn, here on behalf of a committee of which Pastor Ken Gillikin, myself, many others in the community who've been on the committee. What we're doing is, we've already, through Fred, asked you all if we could have permission to utilize the courthouse lawn for an ice skating rink this winter, and also then what we're calling a Winter Fest, merging it with Victorian Weekend. And the purpose of my talking to you today on behalf of the committee is just to make sure that we are doing everything the way you all want and approve and envision it. So if it's all right with all of you, if I give you a few handouts.
Just to give a little insight
Yes.
here with the committee, we're still not done. There's, Derek has some minor wording changes and so forth, nothing significant. And as I interpret it, and the committee interprets what Cindy is trying to do with Winter Wonderland, you call it?
Winter Fest.
Winter Fest.
We changed the name.
Okay, that
Thank you.
the guideline of the rules that has been drafted would fit with under the parameters of what she's talking about. We all certainly understand the liabilities here, and that Winter, and Cindy, correct me if I'm wrong, but Winter Wonder Fest would handle the liabilities, and they would use the same carrier that we have, would be through United Insurance, and that responsibility would fall under SIDEC, I think, or the chamber.
Correct.
So
All, going through the 501c of SIDAC, so all money will run through there. The insurance is through SIDAC as well. So all of that will be handled. And that would be for the Winter Fest and also for the ice skating rink. The ice skating rink, thanks to all of you and our, on behalf of Ken, Jody, myself, and the whole committee, we really thank you for allowing us to use the courthouse lawn. I know with everything going on, I believe there'll be a green space somewhere. We don't know where, but for right now, utilizing that, my understanding is you all have approved for December and January.
Well, let me back up here a
Yeah,
second.
sure.
The final draft that's coming out of the committee that was formed by the commissioners, they've asked me to chair a committee.
Okay.
And that is only in draft form now. And that has not been final approval. Again, the prosecutor was just yesterday, made some notes of some minor clerical changes, more of the wording. So the procedure will be, we at this point can't approve it, Cindy. It's got to come out of this committee. Then it would have to come back to the commissioners. And then we would, if the commissioners so see it to approve it, then at that point, you would have to fill in the application. So we're a little premature on this, and you and I have spoken, and I'm glad you're here today. As my interpretation of the outline of the draft, your Winterfest would fall within that. So I don't see any issues there, but we haven't approved it yet. and the commissioners can't improve it until we get the final draft out of the committee.
Okay.
Since I said on both of them, I think it's kind of a moot point here, but we have not officially, we don't have the format yet for the commissioners to give you the approval, yet.
And
Oh.
Mr. Zoller brought this up a week or two ago, and we all sort of agreed that it was something we'd like to see, so it's not like, we're likely to deny it, but it's just formality, I guess, more than anything.
Yeah, and I suggested for Cindy to come in, because she's at a pivotal point that they have to purchase this. And by the way,
They do.
this needs to be perfectly clear, this is not county funds. This is a private organization that is, their only thing they're utilizing is the county green space. They will have the liability insurance, they will be responsible for the security, they will be responsible for 100% of the cost. None of it is to be borne by county money.
Correct. And so with that, the little brochure here, if we go to the Tiffin Winterfest, if you go to the second rink with the ice rink, just a few things. Fred had specifically requested a fence. The ice rink that we are purchasing, it is a very good rink used by many major cities, including Dublin, Bowling Green, and various other places. There is a challenge with putting up a fence for that. However, plastic fence, I had talked with Lucius Fencing, and it will be a challenge for any sort of plastic fencing, but there is a split rail fence that we could get. However, the only thing we would need your approval on is that if we could drill just some holes for the fencing. And that way it would enable us to have the fence around the rink. The rink has been, Ken has worked with Brian Bilger and Lenny Klaus and some others in the community to make sure we measure exactly right so that it's not going to damage the courthouse lawn. It will be protected. In fact, one of the things was it might even grow the grass better because of what we're doing. But also lights. Our hours of operation that we are envisioning so that we are in line with what the county commissioners and the judges have chosen for the courthouse lawn is Friday evenings, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., Sunday, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And we will have it monitored. Our committee has grown to be very large, of which we're thankful to Fred as well. Very large, and so many in the community are willing to help. And so we will have volunteers to monitor the rink, make sure it's nicely coated every time, shoveled, and so on. To have it monitored adequately, we do need what we're calling a skate hut, very nice looking, that will be able to be put on, by the rink and then taken away at the end of the time period. This will allow the volunteer to be in some warmth. We'll have some heating in there. We also skate rentals, because quite frankly, skates aren't something that the whole community would have, and we want this to be something that people of all ages can enjoy, and people of all incomes can enjoy. Very reasonable, $2 a rental or something. Ken and I have looked into places we can purchase skates. All of this, as Commissioner Zoller said, will be funded, not anything by the county. So we really appreciate this very much, and we feel like it's going to do a lot for the city of Tiffin, image-wise, even bringing business to downtown and so on. So we will. So we would like to have your consideration for that, the rink hut, which, as I said, will be very nice, look nice as
Now
well.
Cindy, with that, I mean, and again, you understand, we're not given final approval, but I think this is good so she can make her plans, because it may, hopefully next week we can get these things done. But this hut, this ice hut or this hut, by the way, I think the pool's only gonna be just a couple inches deep. and
Oh,
then-
right, Ken, how deep are we making the water?
They suggest making it 4 inches deep. What was real crucial, and the reason why on that map that you have, that it's placed where it is Lenny Klaus was out there just last evening, and we were measuring the grade. You gotta have as close to 0 grade as possible, otherwise you have 10 inches on one side and 1 inch on the other, and it doesn't freeze very quickly. So we made, we're real careful about that, but it will be, they recommend a 4-inch thickness on the water. And we just hope for some Arctic air.
If it was anything like this year, or last year, I think Thanksgiving it was froze. But
We hope that happens the first weekend of December, but if not, we know we'll have good ice in January. And,
kind of a double-edged sword here, isn't it? You're hoping for bad weather?
That's true.
well, you have to look forward to winter in some way, and this is the way to look forward. You have an activity. So.
Cindy, my question was 2 issues that I've had on this, and one of it, part of the draft outline was that we had no permanent structures that were there during the week, because I think and we understand that the rink is going to be it's going to be a structure that's going to be there throughout the week when regular court actions go on and the various activities. This hut, is this something that could be moved away and put over on the side? Like, I'm thinking like behind the CSB building. Also, there's going to have to be some restroom facilities there.
Right.
And personally, I have a little issue in having an outhouse sitting on the courthouse lawn, during the week. If we could move that and get it, I understand on Friday evening, Saturday and Sunday, it would be there, but is it possible that those things during court hours could be moved to some other place where it's not possible?
Well, for the skate hut, that would not be so possible. However, already, we've made allowances that for the Porta-Johns, they would be coming in on Friday and exit on Sunday. So they'll be there for Friday night and exit on Sunday every weekend that it's in operation. The hut when Ken and the group went out to evaluate where exactly to put the rink and how large, then the hut, the best place for it would be behind the statues. So it is up front, it is away from the annex. So, and by doing that, Ken and the group felt like also it won't be seen as much. Now it is going to be, our perception of this is it's going to be rather nice looking. We're not going to get something that looks bad, but, right, so if that could be allowed to stay. And looking over your rules and regulations that Commissioner Wagner emailed me about a week and a half ago, it looks like that would probably fit within your rules and guidelines if that works.
Is the fence gonna be more bother than it's worth?
Do you know, actually, I was concerned when Fred first mentioned it, feeling like it's going to be very ugly. But actually, I think Fred did a very good thing for all of us, because if it is a split rail fence, then it's even nice, because for skaters who maybe don't know how to skate as well. Certainly you can skate on any ice, but they can even stand there and hold on to it, sort of thing. So I think in the end it turned out to be a really good idea. Also, I checked, and the split rail fencing, it's treated wood, so there's no way for splinters. So it probably would be it'll end up being a good idea in the long run. And we will, for the drilling in, it doesn't, my understanding is it's not gonna damage it, but we could fill that up after. So, let's see, so we will have it. Now, lighting also, we do have, Fred, you had said possibly Lenny with a generator. I've spoken with Lenny, Ken also as well yesterday, Lenny was there. Lenny was feeling like for the Winterfest weekend that might be okay for the generator, but he's feeling like there's a better solution, which is just to have some poles and have some lighting, as there is a new electrical box, I guess, over by the statue. Is
Yeah, I
that
think we
right,
have
Ken?
service out there by the statue, you could probably tap into.
That's what he was thinking, that may work out really well. So that would also require, and that was Lenny's thought.
Do we have a problem with that? I mean, that would be,
They use it for, Heritage Festival and speakers.
And it's
and
just
everything.
lights, so it's not gonna.
yeah. May want to have them look those, because that's probably just a standard 110 outlet there. And if you've got a lot of lights going into it, there may not be sufficient. I don't know, that's something you may want to look at. We
Chuck
don't-
Klaus was standing there with Lenny, he's an electrician, and he suggested 100 watt LED floodlights, and he's the one who put that electrical box in there. So
He feels it's sufficient to.
Yeah, and he suggested putting them on some poles that they would need to anchor into the ground so they don't, obviously won't fall down.
The only thing is, we may want to, again, I have problems spending any sort of public money for a private deal, and I have no idea how much electricity the thing would use, but I don't want someone to come back and say, well, we authorized it here, but we're not for here. There may be some sort of
Well, we can-
nominal fee or something that.
Exactly.
We kind of do that though for just about anybody that wants to use electric, they can tap into that.
And we don't charge them, we don't do
We
anything.
haven't in the past, people have a program out there of some kind, they're free to plug into that, at least they have been in the past, so.
I mean, if that's what we normally have done, but this is gonna be much larger than the things.
Yeah.
This is gonna go on for a 2-month period, a much larger thing than what we've ever done in the past, so we're kind of treading on, new course here. I guess I would like to see, maybe someone would give us an estimate of what kind of electricity is to be used, so that we can just make sure we take care of that.
That sounds good. I'll make sure.
And again, I don't think it's gonna be something unreasonable here, but I just don't wanna try to set a precedence that somebody wants to set something up for a couple months and we get hooked with a bill.
And I did anticipate that we would possibly need to pay for some of the electric, so that's in the budget, so whatever you feel is fair there. Also, it might be nice, the city of Tiffin did purchase some one-level benches as well that possibly I've asked the mayor if we could borrow them. Those would be just placed down for the weekend and removed, placed down and removed, just so people can kind of sit and tie their skeins as opposed to.
Jeff, I don't know what your thought is, but I mean, again, we have a hall of justice here, and we don't wanna make a carnival environment during the week. So I know it's a little cumbersome on you when taking stuff in and moving it down, but I just don't want to get back in. I remember when we denied one of the requests in August, and that was something certainly was happening during the week. But more importantly than that, it was a tent and all this, what I'm gonna call a carnival type of experience that was gonna be set up for a couple weeks. So I wanna refrain from that, but Cindy, I certainly applaud what you're doing. I think it's a great asset for the community. It's a way to bring the community together. I mean, I think all the things are positive. We just have to make sure that we do things that are in accordance of what our long-term plans are here.
I think it sounds exciting. It's, horse and buggies, you get figure skating performances,
That's true.
ornaments made by the elementary kids. I think it'd be very exciting for the community, and I'm looking forward to trying it.
You don't see any problem, I mean, with
I-
the split rail fence, as long as the insurance is covered,
We usually don't let them dig holes, but if we were gonna make them have a fence, we gotta let them dig holes. Huh?
Yeah, just have to make sure, I'm not sure where the sprinkler system they put in for our,
Yeah, but we'll work with maintenance.
just
so
to
we
make
don't-
sure, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know where it's
yeah.
at, but, yeah.
no, I mean, will it help on the porta potties? I mean, if you put that over by the CSB building,
Sure,
where then that could,
sure.
would that save you money? Where you don't have to move them in and out and keep them over there?
You know.
Or if they're gonna be on the courthouse square, then I absolutely would want them removed during the week. But if you got them over there kind of in an inconspicuous way, they're not visible.
Isn't there some area, like that little break area, that people can't park their cars there? There's a picnic table Just outside the CSB. kind of
I'm thinking right behind the
east
CSB
end,
building.
Yeah.
Used to be the, not the ATM machine, but when you drive up.
Oh, you're going the other way, okay, I was
Yeah,
thinking.
now,
the other
maybe
way,
that's
yeah.
too far away from you, but
No.
I would have no
Probably
problem.
be okay.
I think that's a good idea. I
Then you don't have
wondered-
to move them every week, because that's gotta be an added expense to you too.
Exactly. And I wondered if even, and I know if it works behind the statue, that's fine, but I wondered if even the skating hut could be in that position and wouldn't have to move then too, because I think that's close that,
Yeah, but what Cindy, I understand what Cindy's saying, if you need something to get it out of the wind for the volunteers and so forth, you need it right kinda there, I mean, you're,
that would be too far away, you think?
I think it'd be a little cumbersome. Behind the statue, it's not gonna be quite as visible.
Okay.
I mean, we're gonna have to compromise here a little bit.
I think the porta potties, if you could put them over there and they could stay, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay.
Just hope we don't have some college kid running them down the street or something.
We'll make sure, the mayor will make sure it's well patrolled. And talking, so thank you very much. Talking about the Winterfest briefly, of course, ice sculptures also is one thing. The other, this is a sponsorship for anyone who wants to donate. And I'm not here to solicit your funds at all, but just so that you see what's going to be going out once we get the approval. We do have to order the ice rink this week in order for it to be here in time, but we're willing to take the risk, okay? And we're willing to take the risk.
Well, Cindy, I think if Commissioner Wagner and I'm not sure where Commissioner Stacy's saying, but if
Sure.
we're in agreement with what we've seen at the outline and what we've seen of you, then I think that gives you a much greater assurance.
We'll find a way to make it happen, I think.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
I was reluctant, when Cindy was asking me, I said, well, Cindy, I'm only one of three, and so I wanted to, I asked for her to come in, because to get an overall, even though we can't give the carte blanche, to, get your pulse on it, if it was good, then, because she's at a pivotal point, you gotta make a purchase there.
Yeah. And I think Commissioner Stacy certainly didn't object last week. I don't know if she said she was all gung ho, but she didn't object, so I assume she's all right.
I think you're okay.
Thank you.
Cindy,
Thank you very
there
much.
there was
Yes,
one
Ken?
other little piece, and I didn't know how you wanted to handle it, but the water access. The city is able to make the fire hydrant available.
That's, I have that out to the mayor
Okay.
to see if we can use part of that, so,
To
what was our
resurface the
other?
ice, we need
Right,
water.
we just need the hose, and so if we can hook up to the fire hydrant, other than that, our other option, Lenny was saying maybe the annex, but we're trying to go through the city water, so that it's less invasive. Also, just one other thing, yes, there will be, our plan is horse and buggies Friday night and Saturday night. One on Saturday with the wagon pulled by horses so that a lot of kids and families can be in that.
For
And
the
then,
2 months, for the,
No, Fred, this is just, we have two parts. Our committee has two parts. We have our ice rink for the 2 months, and we have the Winterfest, which is just over one weekend, which is your third page, December 5th through the 7th. So that is where everyone's probably familiar with Victorian Weekend. Our Winterfest is merging with Victorian Weekend, so all of those Victorian Weekend events will still be going on, and the parade, and the run like the Dickens, and all of that. And then our Winterfest activities will be added to that. So specific Winterfest, in addition to Victorian Weekend, we're talking some ice sculptures, which will be really cool. You see the picture of Jody. What's the name of that character? I always forget.
Elsa?
Elsa. The snowman guy. Yeah. So they're going to come, and the ice sculpture company is going to do ice sculptures also for local businesses with their, if they've been a sponsor $1,000, then they will also get their logo sculpted into the ice as well. And so it should be fun for the kids. There's also, there's there's some great options there. With the horse and buggy, just want to make sure it's with your approval that those could be, and this might be a city thing as opposed to a county, if they can be alongside of the courthouse lawn, in between where Fifth Third used to be and the courthouse, right there on the street. Probably a city thing, correct? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And
Court Street.
so that's where we would, yes, and we have our route that they would go down. The rides would be free as well, free. Friday night, there will be 2 horse and buggies. You know, we were limited on, yeah, but those will be like you see in New York and Chicago, those kind, 2 of those. And then the next day, 1 of those kind, and the wagon pulled by the horses. So as long as that's okay, and we'll take care of all the shoveling of the remains and whatever.
Are you gonna have, is there gonna be food vendors there? Or-
We, again, to not make it like a circus sort of a thing, there will not be food vendors outside. Our plan is to make good use of local businesses, and Ralph's Joy of Living is going to be open at this point. They're thinking they'll be open a little more extended hours. I don't know how long. Other businesses like Bailiwicks and the others downtown, we are talking to all of them to hopefully help them, and they also help everyone else by staying open and offering their food and drinks. There will be now we are not serving alcohol. There are bars around, so if they get alcohol from the bars, but there is an organization called Love Tiffin that they want to have some hot chocolate offered outside. As I said, this is a big community thing. It started out with just a few of us, and now it has grown into a real large committee with many organizations. Tiffin Charitable Foundation has done a lot, and Jody has an intern that's created our Facebook and materials for us, and it's really going great. And we have all the church, the Ministerial Association, we have the Elks that they will be doing Santa Claus, we have the Kiwanis Club, the Cancer Society, United Way, many organizations coming together to help make this possible. So thanks to all of you. You're crucial in this, and we thank you so very much.
Our part's easy, you guys are doing all the work.
Thank you.
Yeah, the other part is not easy, is it, guys?
See, I get the biggest kick was last year you approached me about this time of year and wanted to know if we could have it last year. You had like a month and a half to put it. I said, well, Cindy,
Had high
that may be a
hopes.
little tough to get it done. And I think you're finding that. But my hat's off to you and your committee, because this young lady and the committee have put an awful lot of time and a lot of effort in it to get the donations and unfortunately, the commissioners, we just had kind of a stay on the whole thing, but I think that's behind us now, or that will shortly be behind us, and you can go ahead with your plans.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
Still gotta fill out the application once
Will do.
we approve it.
Yes, will do. And SIDEC is mainly, they're again, this whole event, the whole event and the ice rink, it is being run through SIDEC. So they will fill out the permits and the paperwork and all of that for us. They are part of our committee, so.
Thank you again
Thank
so
you very
much for
much.
all your work on that, the whole committee. I don't want this to get out ahead of time, but Mr. Zoller and I are working on a figure skating performance. So you might
Jeff, I didn't think you would lie.
wanna give us some public comment, I come back.
You know, I voiced my opinion about this a couple of weeks ago. And the more I think about what I said then, I still agree. I think it's wrong to use that courthouse lawn for a playground. The next thing that's gonna happen, somebody's gonna want to put a merry-go-round or a Ferris wheel in there. I just think it's wrong to use that area for what's going on. I appreciate the work that they're putting in. It's gotta be a tremendous amount. I just think it's wrong to use that area. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Sure. Yes, Cindy?
And I respect and appreciate your opinion. I would say, Tiffin, I live half-time in Dublin. I grew up in Tiffin, and then I moved down to Columbus after college. I can say that Tiffin, to me, is like the best place. It's like a diamond in the rough. The people, the community, and you know, as life goes on, things change. Things have to change. And you go to these big cities. You go to Chicago. You go to even smaller communities. Tiffin can be the first to make good use of space where it's going to build the town. And that downtown is where it's going to happen. It's going to bring, I would bet that by having even just this ice skating rink, when Tiffin University and Heidelberg University bring recruits to take a look, they're going to see, hey, this town of Tiffin has a lot to offer. What I've heard from those university people is that when they go and they try to get recruits, it's like, well, they might like the campus and they might like the small, but there's nothing to do in Tiffin. How wonderful. We're upgrading. We're, yeah, even, so I understand and respect what you're saying. I view it differently, and our committee is very excited.
I realize that, but there are a lot of other places in this community where this could take place, a lot. We have huge parking lots, a park.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places this could take place. I mean, I won't say anymore, I'm done. Thank you.
Well, and I would just say one more thing. Location is everything. Coming from Dublin, we have an ice rink, and they've had it there for years and years. It's at the Dublin Rec Center, which is a place that very many people go to the Dublin Rec Center. But no one uses that ice rink. But I guarantee you 100%, if they had their ice rink in downtown Dublin, oh my gosh, it would explode. If we put this ice rink somewhere else, it's not going to bring Tiffin alive as much as it would there. And it's just a few months. And in the future, wherever the courthouse goes, you know, if there's a green space somewhere else downtown, we'll utilize that. And if there's not, we'll find another way. But at least for right now, it's just kind of fun to have it. So,
Cindy, based on your outline and based on the kind of the footprint, assuming that someday a Justice Center is built, and making the fast assumption, if it is there, there's still room to
Really,
hold
Fred?
your event there. There's still
wow,
room.
that's
Yeah,
exciting.
but that's down the road. Those are
Okay.
issues that can be decided at a much later time.
Okay, thank you.
Was there any other new business? New business, maybe more public comment?
Just last, one thing, how are we doing with the, and Tom, I don't think you heard us last week, that we had an individual that's gonna take the stone that they took off the parking lot and gonna redo the driveway. Where do we stand at with that? For the cemetery.
He
I
hasn't,
read that.
yeah, he hasn't got to it yet. I can ask Tia to see if we can.
He's gonna
have a
donate his
frame.
time and use our stone
Yeah.
and do it, so I think
That's
that will.
great. I went out last evening and checked it. It's still, there's nothing done yet, but
Yeah.
It
that's
will.
great. That's
will.
great. Fantastic.
I'm sorry.
That's fine, that's fine. Okay, anything else for the good of the order today? Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Okay, I'll second it. We're adjourned at 10:43. Thank you all for coming.